To be here, and the weather is fantastic. And today I'm going to talk to you about how you could build an Iron Man suit, and I'm going to talk to you about some of the main things you need to think about when you want to build one. This is me. This was the last time that I presented live in front of people, and this was last year. And on stage here you can see a couple of things that are here, that are also here. The one thing that's missing, though, is that big red glove, the Infinity Gauntlet. If you've seen Avengers Endgame, hands up, who has seen Avengers Endgame? Who's seen Avengers Endgame? Great. Excellent. Very good. Right. So my name is Barry Fitzgerald. I am an Irish researcher. I'm a scientist. I'm also a writer. I write books. And I dream about having superpowers and creating them. Now, I also work at the Eindhoven University of Technology in the Netherlands. I have written a few books. This is one of my books. It's called How to Build an Iron Man Suit. And does anyone want to maybe guess, maybe put their hand up, who is that in the picture? Anybody want to guess? It is, well, I wish it was Iron Man. It is me, yes, but not Iron Man, not yet. And also, what I do a lot of is I do a lot of YouTube as well. I've got a YouTube channel called The Superhero Scientist, so please check it out if you want to watch some of my videos about other things and other superheroes that I talk about. Now, I love superheroes. Absolutely love watching the films and love reading the comic books. This is a list of the top 25 highest grossing superhero films, all films of all time. And on this list, there are 11 superhero films. As you can see, I've put a little star beside all of those superhero films. And I just want to give you one small fact about how often I watch these films. So I have seen The Avengers from 2012. I have seen that film more than 80 times, 80. That might be too much, or maybe not enough. But this film here, Captain America Civil War, I've seen that film more than 40 times, 40. So I study these films. It's part of the research I do. Now, over my talk today, what I'm going to have is opportunities for you to ask questions. So if you see this guy on the screen, it means that you can ask me a question. So just keep that in mind as I go through the talk. But first of all, I want to do a little quiz with everybody, right? I call this the stand up or sit down quiz. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get everyone to stand up. Everybody stand up, okay? Right. Let's go. We have some more people coming in the back, so I'll kind of delay things a little bit for them. This is a very simple quiz. There is going to be 2 answers on the screen, and you either sit down or stand up, depending on the answer. So let's do the first question. This one, I think, is really easy. Iron Man's real name: sit down if it's Tony Stark, stay standing if it's Bruce Wayne. Okay, so almost everybody got it right. Fantastic. Let's get everyone to stand up again. We're getting some exercise in here as well. Here's question number 2. This is an Iron Man villain. You sit down if it's Alexander Pierce. You stay standing if it's Justin Hammer. Make your decision. It's a guess. Does anyone know? So you sit down if it's Alexander Pierce, and you stay standing if it's Justin Hammer. Okay, so most people got that one right. It is indeed Justin Hammer. Here's number 3. Okay, this is a total guess, and you need to make your decision very, very quickly. How many films has Iron Man appeared in? You sit down if it's 10 films. You stay standing if it's 12. It's a complete guess. Okay, so if you're sitting down, you're right. It's 10 films. And here's one more question. Let's get everyone again to stand up once more, okay? We do one more of these. Okay, so in all of the films, he has a new suit. In Avengers Infinity War, what was the number for his suit? Was it the Mark 50? Sit down. Was it the Mark 85? Stay standing. Make your decision. What do you think? Okay, so if you are standing up, you're absolutely wrong. It's the Mark 50 suit in Avengers Infinity War. So please, everyone could again sit down. The quiz is over. Right, let's get into how to build an Iron Man suit. But I want to point out something really important about this. This is not about building an Iron Man suit. This is about building an Iron Person suit. This is a suit for anybody, anywhere, anytime to use. So let's make sure we remember that as we move through all of this. Now, in the films, Tony Stark puts on his suit in some really cool ways. And for me, this is my personal preference, the best way, the coolest way he's ever done it is in this scene from Iron Man 2. That is, yeah, awesome, right? I love that scene. It's so cool. It's one of the it's a really cool way that he puts on the suit. That suit actually has a really cool nickname. It's called the Football. And the reason it's called the Football is it's named after the nuclear football, which is carried by the President of the United States of America in a suitcase that contains the nuclear launch codes for their weapons. So that's why it's called the Football. But he's also built other versions of these suits. Does anybody know the name of that suit? Anybody know who that is? Anybody know who's in the suit? It's Pepper Potts who's in the suit, and it's called the Rescue Suit. He also built, of course, this suit here, which is the Hulkbuster suit. But one other person has built a suit like the Iron Man suit. And I'm going to show you who they are. Maybe some of you might have heard of this person. This is Riri Williams. Riri Williams is a 15-year-old MIT student, and she built her own version of the Iron Man suit in her college room by herself. And she is going to be in the Marvel films very, very soon, because she's going to have her own TV series called Ironheart, and she's also going to be in the next Black Panther film. So please watch out for Riri Williams. Right, let's get into some of the science that you need to know to build an Iron Man suit. Now, I showed you this list a few minutes ago, but if I add in one more star here, that's an important star I've just added in, because those films are films in which Tony Stark has either appeared and had his suit in those films, or he's been mentioned or shown in lots of detail. So he's been in 7 of the top 25 films of all time. Now, it's very clear that Tony Stark and his suits, they are the foundation of these superhero films. If you're building a house or making any big building, you need to have a foundation, and Tony Stark is that foundation for these films. But there are different ways that he can put on this suit, and this suit that he puts on all the time, the foundation is called an exoskeleton suit. So before I talk to you about exoskeleton suits, I'm going to show you my second favorite time that he put on a suit in the film. So have a look at this. So that's a really, really cool scene from Avengers Infinity War. And here are some of those suits that appeared in that film. So let's meet an exoskeleton suit. Well, what is an exoskeleton suit? An exoskeleton suit is something you wear outside your body. You all have an endoskeleton suit. An endoskeleton is inside your body. So that's your own skeleton, otherwise known as endo or inside skeleton. Now, exoskeleton suits, we actually wear them every single day, and that is clothes. When you put on clothes, you are wearing an exoskeleton suit. Now, today, the weather is very warm, it's really sunny, but in winter, clothing is really important to keep your body warm so that, of course, you don't get sick or something else happens to you. Now, exoskeleton suits are being built all around the world to help people, which I think is fantastic. This is a brilliant suit. It is the ReWalk Robotics ReWalk system. ReWalk Robotics was founded by Amit Gopher, and Amit Gopher is a quadriplegic. That means he cannot walk and cannot move his arms. He's paralyzed or paralyzed from the neck down. Now, this particular suit here is one for patients who might be in a wheelchair, so that it can allow them to actually walk again. It is a brilliant piece of technology. And most of us take mobility and the ability to walk for granted. And this technology, while expensive, gives people that opportunity once again. But there is a cheaper way. This is a team of students who are based in the Netherlands. They're called Project March, and they build exoskeleton suits that look like that ReWalk Robotics suit, and they have the same crutch control. They built it with a very small budget, and these suits, again, are built to give people the opportunity to walk again. But there are other exoskeleton suits. This is the Levio exoskeleton suit. It's actually built for people working in industry. If you were moving things from one point to another all of the time, or if you were lifting things, this suit has been designed to protect the body, and I've actually got one of these suits. And here is the Levio exoskeleton suit. So this is a real exoskeleton suit that I put on exactly like I would put on a coat. So I clip it in. I'm going to put on this belt here. Now, I am wearing what I call the foundation of the Iron Man suit. This is a real exoskeleton suit. So myself and Tony Stark, we both have exoskeleton suits. Now my one doesn't fly, doesn't give me super strength, but what it does do is if I'm working and I'm lifting things, it will protect my back and protect my body. Now there are two little clips on the hips. Does everyone see that clip there? Maybe people down the back. I hope you can all see it. So what is supposed to happen is I clip that one down, and this one should also go. It didn't go first time. There we go, and there we go. Right. So now there's actually two springs. So if you've ever played with springs, when you compress the spring and then you release it, it'll pop up. So when I actually bend down and I sit into this, I can actually stay in this position for a few hours if I wanted to. What is happening here is there are two springs in the hip joints. It takes my weight from my upper body, puts it onto this structure and on my legs. So it protects my back. So if I was lifting or bending down to pick things up, it protects my body. Now the Iron Man suit does exactly that for Tony Stark. It protects him whenever he's doing something. This piece of technology, well, it does exactly that, except it's a little bit different in terms of, well, I can't fly, I don't have super strength. Now, if I want to walk around with these clips on, it's actually really hard to walk. It kind of stops you from moving. So in order to move and walk, I need to unclip them, and now I can walk perfectly fine without it. This is a brilliant piece of technology. It's not about fighting people or killing villains. This is about protecting people's bodies when they're working so they do not have injuries when they're older. It is a brilliant, brilliant piece of technology. Now, I want to tell you a little bit more, though, about these particular suits, because there are other great ones out there. I'm trying to get one of these at the moment. This is the Exo Vest, and this is even better than this one, because imagine you're working in a factory, like you're in a car factory, and you need to have your hands in this position for 8 hours all day, and you're holding a drill, and you might have a hammer in your hand all day, just like this worker here. You can imagine that it would be very tiring for your arms and your shoulders. This suit you put on your upper body, and it gives your arms a little bit of extra strength to protect your arms when they're working for these long periods of time. And the workers in Ford factories in the United States have been using these suits, and they think they're absolutely brilliant. So if I see you again, I hope, fingers crossed, that I'll have one of these suits as well. But the military suits, you know, the suits you might hear about the army making, that they think, yes, we're going to be able to protect our soldiers. This is a suit that the US Army spent $100 million trying to build it, and you know what? It doesn't work. They had to cancel the project. I think that we should be putting our money into exoskeleton suits that can protect people and get people to walk, as opposed to these military-style suits. Now, does anybody have a question? Does anyone want to ask me a question? Anybody? You have a question? Yes? Sorry?
You are Tony Stark?
I am not Tony Stark. I wish I was. No. That's a good question, though. It's good to clear that up. Yes? One, and it didn't even work, which is really unusual. Yes?
What inspired you to make this?
What inspired me to do this talk? I love superheroes and I love science, and I wanted to combine those two things together. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about it. I'll take one more question. Yes?
What age you started to do this?
As a scientist?
Yeah.
17 years old. That's a great question. You know what? I really like that question, okay? So what I want you to do is to come up to me at the end of the talk, okay? Right? Because I'm going to give you something, right? So you're going to get a copy of How to Build an Iron Man Suit. So you come up to me at the end, right? And that's for you, okay? That was a great question. I'm going to move on. There'll be time for more questions as well later on. Now, what is the suit made of? Is it actually made of iron? Because it's called the Iron Man suit. Is it actually made of iron? Well, let's hear Tony Stark explain what it's actually made of. So listen very closely to this clip.
A very astute observation, sir. Perhaps if you intend to visit other planets, we should improve the exosystems.
Connect to the Cisco, have it reconfigure the shell metals, use the gold titanium alloy from the Seraphim tactical satellite.
So he said exactly what the suit is made of in that clip. Did anybody hear what he said? Did anyone hear it? It was really very quick. Don't worry, I'm going to tell you what it is. Because it's not made of iron. Because that wouldn't be good enough. It wouldn't be strong enough. It is made of two particular atoms. And one of them you would wear as jewelry, and another one you might actually find inside your body, particularly if you've had a hip replacement. My father has had both of his hips replaced, and he has this metal inside his body. And these two atoms are titanium and gold. And he has combined these two atoms to create the material that is the outside of the suit. And what I decided to do was this. I thought, okay, Tony Stark in the films has told us that it's a gold titanium alloy. Does that really exist, or could we actually make it? Now, could we actually have this in the future? And the answer is, yes, we could. This is a research paper from 2016. The leader of this group is a researcher. Her name is Emilia Morassen. And what she and her team did was the following. They took gold and titanium, they mixed them together at very high temperatures by accident. And when they did this, they created a material that is 4 or 5 times stronger than some steel alloys. They, by complete accident, made the material that I need and that you need to build the Iron Man suit. But there is one other option. This material here, it's magical. It's called graphene. Graphene is the strongest material on the planet. And it is 1 atom thick, 1 carbon atom. It has incredible properties, and people have been using it to make bulletproof vests or to use it to make electronic devices, but no one has figured out how to make an Iron Man suit or something you could wear from this material. So I put that out to you as your mission, to figure this out. And when you do, tell me, and I'll wear it and test it for you. Does anybody have any questions on what I just talked about there, on the materials? Yes? Yeah? You have a question? It's okay. Does anybody down the back have a question? Because I don't want to leave anyone out down the back. Yeah, I'm going to come up here to you and I'm going to ask you what your question is. What is your question? Do you have it in English? Has anyone tried to make the suit with that material? Not yet, but I hope maybe you will do it. You're a big fan? I'm a big fan of you as well. I'll take a question from over here then. Yes?
If someone tries to make a suit, it needs cost a lot, and only for one suit. First, they need to catch the gold and then titanium. Then they need to try to work, make them in high temperature to these two combine together. That costs a lot. So if they actually make it sell, it's like not possible to buy.
It's a very costly thing to do and try to achieve. It can cost quite a lot of money. So I'm gonna move on to the next section because I gotta go on to the next section. So you're a fan of me, right? You're a big fan. So you come up to me at the end, and I've got a book for you as well. Okay? So you come up to me, and I'll give you a book. Okay? Right. Last section, and this is the cool part. Right. So invisibility. I would love to be able to become invisible at some point in the future, for good reasons. Now, what would an invisibility cloak look like? Well, let's have a look at this clip. Okay. Yes, please. Round of applause. That is a clip from the What If Disney Plus TV series. Now it has this guy, Hawkeye, wearing an invisibility cloak. And what I'm going to talk about here is, well, if you're going to build a suit like the Iron Man suit, will we also be able to make it invisible? And I think that will be something that we could do that Tony Stark did not do. And this is the thing. I started thinking about making something invisible for quite a long time to see whether or not it's possible. And believe it or not, it is 100% possible for something or someone to become partially invisible. This image shows a PhD researcher. His name is Joseph Choi. And this image has not been photoshopped. This is a real invisibility cloak. And I know that it is a real invisibility cloak because, first of all, the instructions to build the cloak are on Wikipedia. So you can go there and get the instructions to make it. But I also built this invisibility cloak myself. So what you see here is what I have there on the table. And here is an image of me with my hand through the invisibility cloak, showing you that it actually does work. So this was the hand I placed through. There's no trickery here. There's my hand, it's still there, of course. This really does work, but you know, when I show this to people, there's always people who think that I'm actually not telling the truth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for one person from this side and one person from this side to come up and look through the invisibility cloak, just to make sure that I'm actually telling the truth, because that's something I want to be, you know, I want to be very, very transparent. You had your hand up straight away, yeah? Yeah, so you can come up. And then I'm going to come down to the back to make sure I get somebody from this side. And I'm going to ask for you to come up. Yeah, yes. Just two. So if you want to come up. Okay, so I'll say it very slowly. What you need to do is this. You need to kneel down. You need to look through, straight through from about this point. And what you should see is giant man's head, and you should not see the bridge. Do you not see the Lego? Can you see the Lego? No. Do you see his face? So it works? Good. That's one person who says it works. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll ask you to come up on stage as well. And do the same thing if you want to stand right about there and kneel right down and then look straight through. What do you see? Do you see his face? Do you see this? No. So that's two people who've told me that it works. Thank you very much as well. Excellent. So that is a real invisibility cloak. Okay, does anybody have any questions about this? Yes? Do you have a question? Oh, there we go. Thank you. Yeah.
How old are you?
How old am I?
Yes. Yes.
That's a very personal question. I'm older than 15 years old. Yes.
Did you like DC?
Did I like?
DC.
DC.
Oh, Disney. I love Disney. Disney's great. They've done a great job with
DC
the Marvel
Comics.
films.
DC Comics.
Oh, DC Comics, yes. I also like DC Comics. I love The Flash. Flashpoint is one of the best stories from The Flash. I'm going to go to the other side. You see this girl here with her hand up? Just got her hand up in front of you, yeah?
In the future, do you want to build a suit for Iron Man?
Do I want to build a suit for Iron Man? Well, if Iron Man would hire me, yes. But I'd rather see a suit built for everybody. So it's not just for one person, so that it's for everybody to use. And Will tell you what, that's a great question. So for that question, you come up to me at the end, and I've got a book for you as well, okay? Excellent. So there will be time for one or two more questions at the end, but I have to do one last thing, because I'm also fighting a clock here. One last thing is this, and this is really important for everybody. And this is something that a lesson that I learned during my career as a scientist, and I hope that it's good for you to hear this lesson now and move forward with this. This is really important. Everyone fails. Everybody, okay? I have failed, my friends have failed, my other researchers have failed, but do not be afraid of failure. Do not be afraid of a mistake. Even this guy has made a huge mistake and errors, and he has made misjudgments in the laboratory when he was making the Iron Man suit. And here is an example of one of the mistakes he made when he was building the Iron Man suit. So have a look at this.
Day 11, test 37, configuration 2.0. For lack of a better option, dummy is still on fire safety. If you douse me again and I'm not on fire, I'm donating you to City College. All right, nice and easy. Seriously, just gonna start off with 1% thrust capacity. In 3, 2, 1.
Now, Tony Stark said something really important at the start of that clip. He said that that was day 11. It took him 11 days to get the suit to fly, which means that he made lots of mistakes along the way. So any time that you are successful in science, it's always built on a solid foundation of failure, which is not a bad thing at all. I've come to the end, so if you want to see more of what I do and what I talk about, go to my YouTube channel, The Superhero Scientist. If you have ideas for videos, please leave a comment and let me know what you want to see. You can also get me on all these social media channels as well. And I have written 3 books: How to Build an Iron Man Suit, Secrets of Superhero Science, and The Secret Science of Santa Claus as well. All of these books are available here at the book festival, at the festival at the bookstore, which is just behind us. And this has been How to Build an Iron Man Suit. I hope you have enjoyed this talk. I am going to look for permission to answer a couple more questions. Do I have time? I do. So I will address a couple of questions which are coming from the front here. So there's probably 3 or 4 right here.
When did you start getting these fascinations of superheroes?
That is a brilliant question. A brilliant, brilliant question. I was 6 years old, and I remember seeing the first Superman film. So I've given my age away there a little bit. I saw the Superman film from 1978 when I was 6 years old, and I remember thinking, wow, here's somebody who can fly, who's got super strength. I really want to know more about this. And that's where I started watching all of these content and reading the comic books and watching the cartoons. But unfortunately for me, there wasn't a lot of superhero films out when I was younger, but you have all got so much content. I am so jealous about what you're going to watch over the next few years. I really am. But be inspired by it, because I'm inspired by it, and I think you should be too. I think this young lady here as well.
Your books is in shops or just?
Yes, you can get my books they're in the bookstore here, and you can also order my books online on my website as well. Great. Let's take this question here.
That stronger material have a weakness point?
Does?
The stronger material have a weakness point? Em português? Se o material tem algum ponto fraco.
Does the material, the suit, has a wicked point?
Yes, it does. Oh, so the material, it's really strong material, but it will break at some point. It cannot withstand everything. At some point, it will break. And that's why I think the material we should use is graphene. Remember that structure I showed you made of carbon atoms? That's the one we should go for. That's much stronger and not likely to fail. I think to balance it, we should take 2 questions from the back, and then we'll leave it then. But you can pick whoever.
Oh my God.
Your choice. Love Spider-Man.
What is your rank? What is your second and third favorite superheroes?
Who is my second favorite superhero? So Iron Man, believe it or not, Iron Man is not my favorite superhero. My favorite superhero is, at the moment, right now, is Hawkeye. Hawkeye with the bow and arrow, and there'll be a new series on TV in 2 months, in December, with Hawkeye, and his replacement, her name is Kate Bishop. And she is going to be the new Hawkeye. So be sure to watch that. But he, for me, is amazing. Great superhero. Lots of people don't like him. I think he's great. So he's one of my favorites. But my favorite superhero always changes because there are so many there. Who's your favorite superhero? I'll come closer so I can hear you say it. Nice. So you like someone moving really fast, and well, Wonder Woman is super strong. That's great. Yes, please.
What's your favorite film of Marvel?
What is my favorite film from Marvel?
Yes.
So my favorite film from Marvel is, I'm going to say Captain America Civil War. It's probably my favorite film from Marvel. And I think do we have time for one more question? We do. Let's take one more. Let's take from someone who hasn't asked a question yet. This young man here.
How does the invisible hook work? How does this work?
That is a question I was hoping someone would ask, and I left it there. And a round of applause for this man, because he asked the question I wanted to hear. That is the question I wanted to hear. So this is how the invisibility cloak works. So, you see these are glasses, right? And there is lenses in my glasses. There are also lenses in your eyes. And what the lenses will do is when light hits the ceiling here, it comes towards my eyes, and when it hits the lens, it gets bent, or it changes direction to fall onto the back of my eye on an area called the retina. Now, these lenses can bend or move the light in certain ways. And those lenses do exactly the same thing. It's like a magic trick, but it's a magic trick with real physics. That is the question I wanted someone to ask me. Please come up to me at the end. I have a book for you as well, okay? I could be here all day answering questions. What do I do? I think I just finished, yeah. I would love to answer all of your questions. Unfortunately, we don't have time. I hope I maybe will see you again during this week, because I'm giving lots of talks about superheroes, and every talk is different, so hopefully I see you again. Thank you very much for coming. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you. And if you, for those who won a prize from me, can you come up at the end and I'll give you the book to you.